What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer in this video here today. We're going to be discussing the new image that came out from Screen Rant exclusively, and we'll just be recapping all the important things we know and think we know about this film that's coming out in July on the 18th. The legacy sequel many of us think we deserve for so long, so hopefully that's what it ends up being and not just a peer to I Always Know What You Did Last Summer, that awful third movie. So let's get into what we know. For starters, we know that this is going to be a legacy sequel, and Ben Willis will not be the fisherman this time around. Our OG final characters, Julie and Ray, will be back, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. They will not be the center of attention, as Freddie Prinze explained earlier this year. That would make no sense because Ben Willis is dead. Instead, we have these fine folks you see on your screen. Screen Rant's exclusive image officially confirms who is who in this group. You have Ava, played by Chase Wonders. You have Danica, played by Madeline Klein. Stevie, played by Sarah Pidgeon. Teddy, played by Tyreek Withers. And Milo, played by Jonah King. Now, Jennifer Caton Robinson did share the names in a tweet a while back before this image dropped, but didn't say who was who. And we never got a reputable trade to confirm it until now. All you had was me telling you that Kyler's brilliant collage, shout out to you, was spot on, and now we have a stamp of approval on that. Ava is the lead, Julie 2.0 if you will. Danica seems to be the modern Helen. Teddy is Barry. Milo is Ray. But who is Sarah Pidgeon? Sarah Pidgeon, based off of what you guys have been theorizing, does in fact seem to be more of a Max 2.0 type. If you remember Max from the original film, I'll just say that. I can show you also who she isn't. Remember that theory that she would be playing Ray and Julie's daughter? Yeah, zoom in real good on her shirt here. As you also see in the background, we have Ray's bar, which we know is a failing business according to Freddie Prinze Jr. But the logo can be spotted just barely on Sarah's shirt because she works there. She's an employee, not a daughter. This would also explain this shot here. Shout out to you, Faku, for pointing this out. It would appear this is inside of Ray's bar. They have the same clothes on. And then, of course, the Screen Rant exclusive looks like that aligns with them leaving the bar. Now, I love this because it's already getting rid of the overused familial ties with certain legacy sequels. Ray is able to help them more than Julie since Stevie works with Ray. And it's such a refreshing spin to me. Not that we haven't seen this before, but you have a lot of legacy sequels, and I love them, where it's like it's a must for all of these characters to be blood tied to past characters. And it's like you can do a legacy sequel without doing that, and I Know What You Did Last Summer is doing it. Already a refreshing take, a refreshing spin, I should say. As for Julie James, Leah McKendrick, who wrote the original draft for this, stated we would be exploring Julie James in a world where there are no secrets, in the area of social media, of course. Now, Jennifer Caton Robinson recently shared we'd be digging into how that Ben Willis incident shaped Ray and Julie's futures. Well, without going into much detail, Julie seems to be a combination of Halloween 2018 Laurie Strode, but on a diet. I stress diet. And then Scream 2's Sidney Prescott. And based on the trailer, it's made clear she is now working as a college professor or something as well. Or at least working at a college. But what about Lola Tung, Nicholas Chavez, Billy Campbell, and Austin Nichols and Gabriette? Well, before I get into that, I do want to say that I think what they are doing with Ray makes complete sense. Ray was always the guy in the group who was the poor kid. This was pointed out to us by Barry. And now, all this time later, it seems he's still in that predicament. He's not doing good for himself because his business is failing. There's this issue going on in town, as Freddie Prinze Jr. pointed out to us. He said that Ray loves his town, and it seems like everyone else around him just doesn't. So there's something going on with Southport that Ray is more passionate about than everyone else. Probably because Southport is all he has to his legacy. And he, again, is still that poor kid, just now a poor man. But based on the trailers, it would appear that Billy Campbell, plays some sort of public official in town, and he may or may not be related to one of these kids. You take from that what you will. That leaves Austin Nichols as our Pastor Noah character that was rumored. But apparently Noah was just code for Pastor Judah. So Austin Nichols is Pastor Judah. Now what about Gabriette? Well, there was a rumored climate influencer, and I will say that the climate influencer doesn't seem to exist. Gabriette seems to be filling that role, but it was a code. So what she's actually doing will probably be a bit more pleasing to you guys once you see the film. She's here for a reason. Notice when she arrives in the trailer, it would appear she's arriving in Southport. She's on a mission for something, or working on some sort of project is all I will say. Now, Nicholas Chavez, it's safe to believe we haven't seen him too much for a reason. He's either going to be very important to the narrative, or he's going to be a dud, just a hot face to see, since I see there's so many people who love Nicholas Chavez. Now, we know the Fisherman is going to have a lot of new weapons this time around based on what Jen told Bloody Disgusting a few days ago. She said the slicker, the hook, and the body count are all getting an upgrade. The hook is the weapon of choice, but this time the Fisherman has a lot more in the arsenal. We looked at all different nautical themed weaponry for the Fisherman to collect victims with. Now, we got a glimpse of the spear gun, or the harpoon, that they will be using, but there are other things that first trailer does not show that I cannot wait to see unfold in this film. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these weapons on screen. And as far as the overall output of the film, you have heard me say that I think this has all the ingredients to be one of the best Lego sequels to date. And I mean that. I do mean that in theory, in principle. The concept of what Jen is going for should work for me. The issue is, I haven't seen this movie. I have to see how it's executed. I have to see what this translates to on screen. Because so many people were already like, how is Critical Overlord giving Final Destination Bloodlines a bad review, and he was one of the biggest hype men for it? That's just it. There's this disconnect between paper, what you have in your mind, and what actually translates on screen. Just because I was hyping what I knew about the movie does not mean that now that I watched the movie, I'm going to give it a good review. Bloodlines, unfortunately, was an example of a movie that did not translate well on screen based off what I knew. I hope the same is not true for I Know What You Did Last Summer. I want this movie to be good, just like I wanted Bloodlines to be good. It just simply wasn't. If Last Summer isn't good, I'm going to whack it as well. I'm not going to beat it to a pulp just because of the fact that I do enjoy this director's work. I'm not going to beat it to a pulp, but I'm not going to join popularity over integrity. If I don't fuck with the movie, I'm going to let you know I don't fuck with it. And if you don't like that, just because you want me to fall in line with some hive mind mentality, well, you're going to be miserable, because I'll never do that. We also know that we have a second trailer coming our way. We also know that we will, in fact, get an update on Carla. So there is going to be something in the film that lets us know how Carla is doing in life all of these years later. And hopefully that comes in the form of an appearance by Brandy. If we don't get Brandy, I'm not going to lose sleep over that, because as you all have been hearing in my videos, I think that what should happen with someone like Carla is she should appear to give us more than just a laugh or two. I think she should appear for more than that. I think there should be something substantial she gets to do when she appears on screen. Not just popping in because people wanted to see Carla so bad for 5 seconds. That's not really how I want Carla to be brought back. I want Carla to have a worthwhile narrative, just like the other returning stars. Granted, she's not as important as Ray and Julie. I get that. But that also will then reinforce the argument, just don't bring her back at all. The other thing, of course, is how do you concoct a narrative for Ray and Julie that is satisfying to fans like me and you listening who grew up with those first two films in a way that doesn't make us go, oh, well, we could have done without these two even being in the film. The easiest thing to do would be to follow the formula that brought you to the dance anyway. We know that Scream 2022 inspired this movie for Sony. And what they did with Sydney and Gail in Scream 5, I thought was a perfect use of those two ladies, considering that the narrative wasn't about Sidney Prescott. So you can't just give me this full-centered narrative about her, because then that's a disservice to the main girl you're trying to sell me on, which at the time for them was Sam Carpenter. Here, it's Ava and friends. So I understand you can't just give me Julie James and Ray Bronson. But what crucial development occurs that justifies Julie getting involved, Ray getting involved? Those are the things that are most important, knowing and understanding that they are not going to be the main characters. If you can give me one little nugget of reasoning that justifies why they are involved, and it's something compelling, that's enough. They don't need to have any fully focused or full-centered arcs, because that's then a disservice to your newbies, and you just can't do that. But let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video. In the description, I have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.